Oh, hello, and good morning. So you join us for the rundown of my totally awake Las Vegas Open Kill Team coverage. Actually, I'm reasonably awake now, because I've watched the entire preview and put together the PowerPoint, but certainly when I started this morning, I was questioning the will to live. And the big news is the Soul Shackle box has been fully revealed, which is amazing. So let's get right into looking at what was revealed. So first of all, yes, the Adeptus Arbites team. So a couple of notes here. They did say that every model can have a shotgun, every model can have a shield, and every model can also be a specialist. We don't know if you'll be able to take more than one shield guy in kill team. They did talk a lot about 40k as well, so they talked about how, the all shield squad and the all shotgun squad and the squad with the specialists. I get the impression there's 3 different units coming for 40k. I don't know in kill team if you'll be allowed to replicate those shields over and over and over again or not. Let's have a look at the miniatures that have been shown. Let's think about what they might do and what they might not do. Where I've put the name underneath the miniature, that name was confirmed in the video. Where there's a question mark, it's my speculation. So starting up here, this guy is called in the video Revelatum, and if you are only got Latin, that is a guy who uncovers things, who knows things, who finds things out, who reveals things. So I'm guessing he will be some kind of character which helps you to, remove conceal from people, perhaps, or, some variation. They never keep it quite consistent with that, but some variation of making it easier for your guns to shoot someone who might not want to be shot is, I'm guessing, what happens there. We've got a combat fellow with a big grim-looking pair of manacles and a stick for hitting people over the head with. So I'm guessing he could be a combat guy who hits people. Maybe he'll have some special rule for trying to arrest them somehow. Not quite sure how that would work, but certainly a combat specialist. At first I thought this guy was a normal trooper, and then Oro on the Discord pointed out he's got a little bit of an extra comms set on his head here. So he could be a trooper, but he could be the comms guy. So not quite sure there, but it could be either or. But yeah, possibly comms. Here's our sergeant type character, the Proctor Exactant. No alternate builds for him that I could see in the kit. I'm kind of a little disappointed that you can't have your standard kind of. I think Plasma Pistol and a Power Maul is a classic loadout. Now there's a couple of Power Mauls in the warband. Like I'm not like totally upset at the lack of Power Mauls, but I love a Power Maul, and I think he looks more like a support character. He's got his big kind of order giving horn. I wonder if they're going to be quite similar to the Navy breaches in that regard. They're going to kind of rely on giving orders and a bit of kind of synergy, which is a shame because when I think of Arbites, I don't think necessarily of them being a synergistic team. I think of more of them as being a kind of a more solid, independently operating kind of a group. Maybe it's nothing to do with orders. Maybe it's more like a debuff or to make the people they're hunting kind of fearful and quake in fear. We just don't know. I do think this kind of floating drone thing looks really cool though, and the hat's amazing. So for all that, I'm a little disappointed that it's a guy with a shotgun. He does kind of evoke that classic. I mean, there's no trench coat. I would have loved to see a trench coat, to be fair, but you can kind of see where he's modelled on that classic metal, I think a Jez Goodwin piece of the kind of lead arbiter with the big eagle on his head and the trench coat. So that's quite cool. You could always proxy them. I mean, they'll be totally different sizes, but yeah, that is cool. We got a sniper. I'm sure he'll do sniper things. Hopefully have silent on his sniper, which is good. And this is a basic trooper over here. So he'll do basic trooper things. Obviously, we don't know any of the rules yet, so it remains to be seen how good those shotguns will be or how special they're going to be. Over here, this guy, the shield guy, another combat specialist, he was flagged up as a subductor, so that's his name. It's really difficult to tell what. Oh, I am sorry. It's really difficult to tell what a combat shield guy will do because so far the 2 examples of shield guys that we've had have had quite different rules. But that's the subductor. This guy's a bit mysterious. One suggestion was that he kind of fires tracker darts into people to track them. Some kind of tech guy. Maybe he'll have like free mission actions. Maybe he's like the engineer specialist. I don't know. I don't know. A bit of a mysterious one here. Seems like he's probably going to be some kind of utility piece. Difficult to speculate, really. If I was going to speculate, I'd say he was probably a mission action monkey of some description, but it's hard to know with a weird pistol. This guy, now, the word Churgunt is in the article, so we don't know for sure that this is that guy, but he has a little medical kit. He's clearly a medic, so it's Chirurgeon medic, so this will be the medic for the team, I'm pretty sure. This is the Leash Master, so I'm assuming he works with the Cyber Mastiff in some way. He either can send an attack out through him in the same way that the Navy guys do with their Pokemon, or there's some other kind of synergy going on between these two operatives. Cyber Mastiff, obviously we talked a lot about the other day, and it seems like we have a gunner with what looks to be a heavy stubber. So we know what heavy stubbers do. They've got rules in Compendium Chaos, I think, for sure. Pretty good gun, right? Pretty good gun. Now, we may have two more gunners. So there's this picture here. On the right, we see a standard shotgun. On the left, we see something that looks similar to the shotgun, but it's got a sort of barrel on the bottom and a kind of flip-up sight here and a foregrip. Could be a chunkier shotgun. Could be a grenade launcher. Hopefully it is a grenade launcher, because for me grenade launchers are such an iconic piece of Arbite's kit. It would be a real shame for them not to get a grenade launcher. So I'm really hoping this is a grenade launcher. Okay. And then down here, we only see this in profile, whatever this is. It's probably a flamer. It could be a Weber, right? That would be interesting. We have rules for Webbers because they're on the Gene Stealer Cultist sprue. They're not very good, but it will be interesting from a lore perspective. It makes sense that Arbites would have a Weber. It could be a Meltagon. Like, if you ignore... I don't know if this hole is sculpted or if this hole has been the barrel has been drilled by somebody in Nottingham there. It could, if you ignore that hole, if you look at the rest of the gun in profile, it could be a melter. My bet is actually on Flamer, but it's really hard to see whether this is a pilot light like on a Flamer or whether it's just a tube going into the bottom of the gun. So my guess would be that there's going to be more gun options than we see in the big picture. So what have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We've got 12 models here. I think it'll probably launch as a 10 model team. With some spares in the box, but it could be a 12 model team. That's possible. And I think that what we see here is likely to represent a legal list, so you'll be swapping out your gunner or potentially a marksman for other guns, I would guess, and you'll be forced to take one trooper. But it could be a 10 model team. No, we honestly just don't know. We honestly just don't know. So take that what it will, whether it'll be like Kazakin, where the sniper counts as one of the gunners, or like earlier teams where the sniper is separate and you have a gunner. Maybe you can have two gunners, but then you have to drop something else. I don't know. It's certainly going to be interesting to find that out. And be interesting to see if we can take multiple shield guys as well. I'm really liking the aesthetic of the Adeptus Arbites. They've got kind of a medieval knight vibe going on. They have kind of managed to get a little bit of separation between the Arbites and Judge Dredd, which is cool, whilst still having them look like Arbites. Their helmets, actually, on the helmeted ones, really remind me of the Sisters of Battle helmets, which is an interesting kind of little bit of overlap there. Right, but the Arbites aren't alone. We've also got the Dark Eldar, so this is confirmed to be an upgrade sprue team. So our Dark Eldar, we've got a Crimson Duelist. So this appears to have one of the witch weapons. So we could go and find the stats for the witch weapons there. We got our Arch Sybarite, which is our sergeant, just as we thought, with the standard equipment from the core kit. So there's a power sword and a blast pistol. So it's nice to see. I think power sword and blast pistol will probably be a legal equipment choice, which is great. Won't be forced to take the splinter pistol if you want a power sword, which is good. Heavy Gunner is called out. That's just a standard Heavy Gunner from the box. This is our Sky Splinter Assassin with the bird. Maybe the bird also doubles as a sniper because he's called a Sky Splinter Assassin and it kind of uses his bird to spot people and then he can shoot them himself. That would be cool and would kind of split out the extra steps. We've got the Disciple of Yale-Mindra is how this is called out. Clearly a grenadier of some kind throwing grenades. Also with a really interesting looking pistol, so that's quite cool. I think we see 2 basic troopers, which is a little worrying that they needed to bulk the shot out with 2 basic troopers, but there we go. We've got our heavy gunner, we've got our standard gunner, we've got some kind of combat person here, okay, and a medic. So it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I couldn't find any other in the video as well, so if it's a 10-man team, and you have to take 2 basic troopers, that's kind of sad. Maybe it's an 8-man team and they're all really powerful, similar to Harlequins. That's certainly possible. We know there will be other options for Heavy Gunner and Gunner just because we know it's the standard Cabalite kit. So you're also going to have your Dark Lance in there and your, whichever one this isn't, the Blaster or the Shredder. I can't tell the difference. Moving on, we got the terrain. So it looks like it's the standard old terrain that we are very much used to in all of the box sets so far. Is this a slightly different mat? Like, I don't remember these stairs on the mat. Maybe that's just me having a moment, though, and it is the same mat. But it's the same sprue of terrain, but with a new accessory sprue. I actually think, and it's a shame it's for narrative play only, I actually think this looks like the coolest accessory sprue that they've done for an Into the Dark Terrain set in the whole run so far. We've got these cool breachable walls, so it's a wall segment that looks like this, and then you can push, and the little breachable segment comes through, and you can climb through it. That's pretty rad. And you've got these little accessories, including the cool hollow table, upon which they appear to be looking at the Into the Dark Terrain set. And that is really cool. I enjoy this accessory kit more than any of the other accessories we've seen so far. It's just a shame that they will be limited to narrative play, and so very few people are ever going to use them. But cool pieces of plastic nonetheless. We're going to briefly touch, and I do mean briefly because I've got to get to work, I'm going to briefly touch on the other things that were revealed today in the preview video. Obviously, if you want to watch the whole thing back on Twitch, you go and do that. So, Valrak was right. We've got this Space Marine box with a close combat dreadnought with some missile marines and some intercessors there. That's cool. I may pick up the Dreadnought eventually for my Black Templars if I ever get around to wanting to go back to them in 40k again, but certainly I'm not going to pick up this FOMO box. I don't really care for the Missile Marines, and sticking in 5 intercessors there is a bit of it. 5 heavy intercessors there is a bit of a tax. I will say the Lieutenant looks kind of cool. He's a multi-part Lieutenant in the same vein as the old multi-part Space Marine Captain, so a model with loads of options, which is pretty sweet. We've got the Wrath of the Soulforged King, which is sadly a big FOMO box that the new Vashtor and Azrael models are going to be locked inside, along with a load of old miniatures. So that's going to come out and be the first way to get those. That's kind of tragic. Happily, I'm not personally that fussed about either of those. But yeah, fine, big boxes. Some people like them. I wish they'd release their cool new models for people to buy. You know, this is fine. This one is a little obnoxious. Just because if you're a big collector of Chaos or Dark Angels, you're going to have all those other things already, and you may not want them. New Lizardmen were released. They do absolutely nothing for me. I'm not a big Lizardmen fan. Mrs. T.I. is really happy. I'm sure they already had a new Slan, but they've got another new Slan. They've got some skinks on dinosaurs, if that's your thing, and some Sauruses. We've also got more. There was more stuff revealed for Warcry. So it's the Corn Fellows versus vampires. Sort of jungle vampires. The jungle vampires don't do very much for me. I love vampires, I love undead, but I love the classical kind of European gothic horror medieval thing. So these are trying to be something new and different and original, and I reject that because I like my classic old tropes. Like, sorry, but I am what I am, and yeah, so if you love them, then great for you, but they're not for me. They're also like a bit of a Asian a Japanesey vibe from some of these as well as the kind of jungly vibe. Like, they're cool models, they're just not what I want from vampires, basically. We've got the Cerberus tank, which is cool. Like, great to see the Heresy tanks coming out in plastic. If you follow the Heresy, it's interesting. We're getting all these tanks and vehicles and jet bikes and things. I think what Heresy players really want are plastic assault marines or plastic breaches. But we're getting tanks. Tanks are cool. You know, if I can fit it in my list, I consider buying one at some point. Perhaps it's another heavy support option to consider later down the line. It looks really cool, which is good. And then we've got some Witch Elves for Underworlds. Hard to get excited about these, I think. 5 miniatures, and they all look kind of like they're things that you could build, to me, with the ordinary multi-part plastic kit. Like, they're nice, there's nothing wrong with them, but I just don't think they add that much over and beyond what you could get with a standard Age of Sigmar Witch Elves box set. So, don't really play Underworlds. If I was going to play Underworlds, I'd build and paint the skeletons that came out for them quite recently, but these are okay. If you like them, then you like them. And I'm sure for people that are deep into that game and deep into the meta, the cards and the rules and everything else really will add something to the play experience, which is great. Right, that's it. Final thoughts. I'm sorry that I've rushed through. It's all been a push for time this morning, trying to get this video out before I have to go off to work and things like that. So, what do you think? Give me your thoughts and feedbacks down below. I will see about getting some more videos up over the weekend to have a little bit of a deeper dive into what we think is coming for Kill Team in terms of those models and what they might do. If you've got any suggestions for this guy, was the real, like, what's he going to do? That's the one that I'm really the least sure about what purpose he might serve. Right? Because he's got an Auspex, but then this guy is called the Revelatum. So we got 2 utility pieces. Hard to know. Let me know that down below. I hope you enjoyed the summary. I hope you think it was worth me getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning and getting ready to go and to leave, and then waiting and doing the video and then doing this. So please do let me know that, so that I know that it was worth my while. I'm off to work now to try and stay awake for the whole school day, so that will be really, really good. I think I've got gate duty this morning as well, so I'm going to stand around in the cold for a bit. Amazing. Please do give me the love, the likes, the comments, the subscribes. Will keep me going, and I hope that you enjoyed the video. Yeah, cheerio everybody, have a really great day, and I hope you all enjoyed the preview as well. Bye.